This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. We'll think about the induced EMF concept in this class now. Okay. Now, basically the electromagnetic induction meaning that, so here the electromagnetic induction meaning that the induction, the production of electricity or the induction of electricity by means of a magnetic field. So whenever the magnetic field is going to be producing the electricity, then that can be called as an electromagnetic induction. So in the previous classes, as you have seen that uh, an electric field and magnetic field can be combinable. They can combine an electric and the magnetic fields. So to prove this, Ørsted has done an experiment that based upon that experiment, they can control the magnetic flux lines by means of controlling the amount of electric current passing through a wire. Or in other words, they can control the amount of induced EMF or voltage in a conductor by means of controlling the magnetic flux lines. So both control is possible. You can control the electric field and you can control the magnetic field. If you want to control the electric field, then first of all I need to control the magnetic field. So by controlling the magnetic field, you can control the electric field. And similarly, by controlling the electric field, you can control the magnetic field also. Okay, fine. So that here an electromagnetic induction meaning that the electricity induced in a conductor by means of a magnetic field. So by changing the magnetic field, we can control the amount of an induced electricity or an induced EMF. What is meant by EMF? It is for an electromotive force, right? So that an electromotive force can be controlled by controlling the magnetic field itself. So to produce the electromagnetic induced EMF, we'll be having there are two types of the electromagnetic induction: statically induced EMF and dynamically induced EMF. That is, an induced EMF can be produced either by statically or magnetically. Either by statically or magnetically. Statically meaning that without any motion, or there is no motion. Statically induced EMF meaning that there is no movement, there is no motion of conductor or motion of the electric field. There are no moving parts. That type of induced EMF can be called a statically induced EMF. An example for the statically induced EMF are a transformer and an induction motor. Now in a transformer, as you have seen the any transformers in this practical world. So a transformer does not have the moving parts. There are no moving parts within a transformer. Absolutely, there are no moving parts within a transformer. But the electricity is able to transferring from one circuit to the another circuit, called as the primary circuit to secondary circuit, without the moving parts. For this type of induced EMF can be called a statically induced EMF. Statically induced EMF here. And another type of induced EMF is, one second type of an induced EMF is a dynamically induced EMF. A dynamically induced EMF meaning that there is a movement of the conductor or movement of the magnetic field. So by moving the conductor or by moving the magnetic field, physical movement, what that can be technically called as speed of the conductor. rotating speed of the conductor. So with the movement of the conductor or with the movement of the magnetic field, it is possible to induce an EMF, which can be called as a dynamically induced EMF, or dynamically induced EMF here. So a dynamically induced EMF concept consisting of moving parts, but whereas statically induced EMF does not have moving parts. It does not have the moving parts in there. Okay. So these two are the types of the induced EMF: statical induced EMF and dynamical induced EMF. We are going to study about these things in this class. And operation, construction of the DC machine, it comes in your second year. It comes in your second year first semester. Are going to studying about the principle of operation of a DC machine, construction parts, their efficiency calculations in 2-1, and are going to studying a synchronous machine. And another example for the dynamic induced EMF, are going to studying this one in third year first semester. And about the transformer and induction motor, that is an example for the statically induced EMF machinery, are going to studying in our second year second semester. Okay, this is the overview of statically induced EMF and dynamically induced EMF concept. So that now in the first year you are just having the basics of statically induced EMF and dynamically induced EMF. We are going to studying about basics only. We are not touching in-depth machinery parts like the DC motors, DC generators, either synchronous motors or the synchronous generators or transformers or the induction motor. They are not present in your first year. They are going to be appearing in your second year and third year onwards. Okay. So this is the broad picture of your electromagnetic induction. I repeat again, an electromagnetic induction meaning that the electricity induced by the magnetic field. There are two types of the electromagnetic induction: statically induced EMF and dynamically induced EMF. In a statically induced EMF, there are no moving components. Without any moving components, an EMF is going to be induced. But in a dynamically induced EMF, we require a moving component. That moving component generally involve the conductor or a magnetic field. So this one you can understand that in order to induce an EMF or in order to produce the electromagnetic induced EMF, what are your requirements? There are two requirements are there. One is that you require a conductor. You require conductor, and secondly you require a magnetic field also, right? Two things are essential for the production of an electromagnetic induction: a conductor and a magnetic field, and a field is also important. These two are the major parts of any type of induced EMF, the conductor or fields. Okay, now proceed further. Now first of all we'll think about the dynamically induced EMF. So that in the dynamically induced EMF, I repeat again here, we'll go back here. Now the statically induced EMF is going to be generated according to the principle of self induction and mutual induction. Okay? The principle governing the statically induced EMF is self induction and mutual induction. And dynamically induced EMF is governed by the principle of Faraday's laws. Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Okay, Faraday's laws. Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction are going to be governing the dynamically induced EMF, and statically induced EMF is going to be governed by, led by the principle of self-induction and mutual induction, both. Dynamically induced EMF can be done with Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. We have seen the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction in our previous classes. So that the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction are two. The first thing is that the first law says that how an EMF is going to be induced and how an EMF is going to be induced in a conductor. And Faraday's second law gives the magnitude of the induced EMF. And thirdly, the direction of the induced EMF is found by using Lenz's law. Keep in mind all the Faraday's laws. Okay, so that the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Now the first law gives the dynamically induced EMF principle. Or the Faraday's first law, whenever a conductor cuts magnetic flux lines, then an EMF is going to be induced in that conductor. That is the Faraday's first law. And the Faraday's second law is that the Faraday's second law gives the magnitude of induced EMF. That is, the magnitude of induced EMF is given as E is equal minus N into d phi by dt. So that here negative sign is due to Lenz's law. So the Faraday's second law gives for the magnitude of induced EMF E is equal minus N into d phi by dt.
Okay, okay, stop. Stop. Double అండి. దా బండి దా.
Switch off your mic. Caller to switch off your mic, please. So that the Faraday's second law gives the magnitude of induced EMF, that E is equal minus N into d phi by dt. Whereas here negative sign is due to Lenz's law, that is direction of induced EMF. So the induced EMF is a vector quantity which will be having a magnitude and a direction. Magnitude is given by the Faraday's second law, and the direction of induced EMF is given by Lenz's law, that the polarity of induced voltage is opposite to the change in the flux that is produced in that voltage, or simply saying it is Newton's third law. For every reaction there is an equivalent and opposite reaction. So that Lenz's law states that the direction of the induced EMF is opposing its cause. Its cause is d phi by dt. This is the cause, rate of change of flux. So that the direction of the induced EMF is opposing its cause of d phi by dt. So that's why here I got here negative sign there. Fine. So that in the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, in case of a DC machine, what I am going to do is that I am going to taking a conductor. These spiral shapes are the conductors, and I am going to placing an electromagnetic. So just now as I have seen that the Faraday's laws are going to be governing the dynamically induced EMF. Dynamically induced EMF in the sense there should be some moving mechanism. Moving mechanism for the conductor or for the field. So that now in this case I am going to weaving an electromagnetic field. So for example, with my hand, for your understanding only, it's not real actually. So that here my case one in the dynamic induced EMF that. So first of all, the field is going to be changing. Field is going to be moving in nature. So that to produce the movement of the nature, for example, if I can move this permanent magnet with my hand, then there is a change of rate of flux linkages. d phi by dt is going to be taking place. So because of d phi by dt, now here an EMF is going to be induced. Now this EMF is going to be induced in a conductor only, but not in the magnetic field. So that in the first case, I have taken that the field is going to be moving and a conductor is stationary. Second case is that a conductor, I can take the conductor as moving and the field can be kept as stationary. Both possibilities are done. Both possibilities are existing. So for example, if I can take this case. So now here the magnetic field is going to be kept as stationary. North and south poles were kept as stationary and conductors. A conductor coil is going to be rotating in this case. So by rotating the conductor coil, then there is a d phi by dt, so that an EMF is going to be induced in the conductor, not in the magnetic field. That magnitude is given by Faraday's second law. This principle is being used in DC machine. Machine meaning that here it may be a generator or motor. Both are possible. Right? A generator or motor. Both are possible in this case. So that here a generator or motor can be taken as So now in this case the generator and motor both are going to be considered as a machine. Both are going to be considered as machine here or in general. So now in this case I am going to be changing the conductor of the DC machine and field winding is kept constant, so that there is a change of flux. Because of the change of flux, an EMF is going to be induced, and the nature of the induced EMF is sinusoidal. So for this waveform produced, you can calculate its frequency, you can calculate its time period, you can calculate its RMS value, and you can calculate its average value, or etc can be calculated as you have done in the 4th unit. Okay, fine. So this is about the dynamically induced EMF. Is it clear? Did you understand the dynamically induced EMF? Respondent, please. Or did you understand the dynamically induced EMF?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
it
sir.
is clear. So
Yes,
we
sir.
can proceed to second type of induced EMF called statically induced EMF. Okay, statically induced EMF. Now in case of a statically induced EMF, so now in case of a statically induced EMF here, there is no moving component. Now in a statically induced EMF, all the components are kept stationary, and it is dependent on the two principles called self-induction and mutual induction. I will explain now the principles of self-induction and mutual induction for statically induced EMF. Listen carefully now. So the self-induction is the phenomenon where by change in current in a conductor induces an EMF. Or simply saying, if some current is passing through a coil, then a flux is going to be produced. If that flux is going to be inducing an EMF in that coil only, then this principle is called a self-induction. Or technically speaking, in words, self-induction is a phenomenon where an EMF is going to be produced in the coil by its own flux. The type of induced EMF produced by this principle is called a self-induced EMF. So, if an EMF is going to be produced by the principle of self-induction, that can be called a self-induced EMF. And similarly, if an EMF is going to be produced by the principle of a mutual EMF, then that type of EMF is called a mutually induced EMF. And similarly, if an EMF is produced by the principle of dynamically EMF, then that EMF can be called a dynamically induced EMF. So, depending upon the principle wise, we'll be having the different types of EMF. Or simply saying self-induction. Self-induction meaning that, so for example, if I can take a coil, this is an iron core, and this iron core is wounded for a coil or wire, forming an inductance. You know the principle of inductance. Okay, so if I can apply an alternating voltage source across the inductance L, then some current is passing through that inductance. So when current is passing through that inductance, then that inductance is going to be producing north and south poles in the iron sheet. This north and south poles are going to be produced, so that magnetic fluxes are going to be traveling from north pole to south pole. Magnetic fluxes are going to be established from north pole to south pole. If these flux, now observed here that these fluxes are being produced by passing some current I through that coil, so that whenever some current is passing through the coil, then that coil is going to be producing some flux. If this flux is going to be inducing an EMF in that coil, then that type of EMF is called as self-induced EMF. I repeat again. So first of all, I have taken an electromagnet and some current I is passing through that coil. Because of passage of some current I through the coil, then north and south poles in the iron sheet are going to be established. That is, magnetic flux lines were set up. If these magnetic flux lines are cutting the conductors of the same coil, then an EMF is going to be induced in that conductor. So this type of principle is called a self-induction. Or simply saying, if an EMF is induced by its own current, because of its own current, because of its own coil current, then the type of induced EMF is called a self-induction. Clear? So self-induction meaning that if an EMF is induced in a coil because of passage of some current through that coil only, then that can be called a self-induction. Okay, what can be called as self-induction? So I have explained the principle in words. First step is that a conductor is given some current, then flux is going to produce. If that current is going to be changing in time, then the flux also changes. That is, flux phi is dependent on current passing through the coil current. Now, if there is a change of flux, then an EMF is going to be induced. This is called a self-induction. And this induced EMF direction is opposite to its cause. Its cause. What is the cause for the induced EMF in this coil? Is the passage of some current I. So that how the induced EMF is opposite to the passage of the current I. Or in other words, induced EMF is opposite to the applied voltage V of the source. Or simply said, is clear? So self-induction. So did you understand the self-induction concept? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, so these are some of the applications of the self-induced EMF here. The self-induced EMF can be used in case of fluorescent tubes, or simply saying our tubelets. Tubelets for the starting purpose, and in fan regulators, voltage regulators, lightning arresters. Lightning arresters meaning that in nowadays you are going to be experiencing thunders and storms, right? Those thunders and storms are due to the and that concept can be technically called a lightning concept. That can also be detected by means of using an electromagnetic field only. That is also an application of the electromagnetic field. Storm or thunderstorms. And self-induction is being used in the design of auto transformers and in choke coil in the welding applications. These are some of the applications of self-induction. And similarly, we will be having the concept of mutual induction also. Mutual induction also. So a difference between the mutual induction and again self-induction is that I have just taken the self-induction in a coil only. So for example, if I can take another coil, now in the premises, in the close proximity of coil number 1. Okay, I am going to take in the another coil with an inductance of L2, with an inductance of an L2 here. Then of course with some number of turns also, so that these two coils are placed in a close proximity, so that the flux passing from the first coil, can also be passing through the second coil also. We can also be passing through the second coil also here. I will draw the new flux lines. So whenever the flux coming from the first coil is able to passing through the second coil also, then those two coils can be called as magnetically coupled coil. Okay? Magnetically coupled coil meaning that the flux passing through the two coils is same flux is passing through the two coils of L1 and L2. Then these two coils can be called magnetically coupled coils. Now I am just passing the current in the first coil only, so that because of the passage of this current in the first coil, the flux is going to be established, and the flux is going to be producing an EMF in the first coil. because of its own current I1 only. Because of its own current I1 only. So whether the induced EMF produced in the coil number 1 is called a self-induced EMF. Now, secondly, that flux is also passing through the second coil with an inductance L2 also. So that another EMF is going to be producing in the second coil. Now, this EMF produced in the second coil is proportional to the amount of flux passing through the second coil. And thirdly, now this amount of flux passing through the second coil is directly proportional to the I1 current in the first coil. Is clear? I repeat again. An EMF is going to be induced in the second coil E2, and magnitude of this induced EMF E2 is directly proportional to the amount of flux passing through the second coil. And this flux passing through the second coil further depends on the amount of current passing in the first coil current. That is, the first coil current is going to be controlling the amount of induced EMF in second coil. This principle is called a mutually induced EMF. Okay. I repeat again. If the EMF induced in another coil is dependent on first coil current, then this principle is called a mutually induced EMF. That the EMF induced in the second coil depends on the first coil current, or depends on the first coil current. This is this concept is called a mutually induced EMF. I will give you some example for self-induction and mutual induction practically. So, for example, if one student got low marks in the first minute examination, okay, for example, then automatically the student will work hard to get more marks in the second mid examination. But this is called a self-induction, self-motivation. That student is going to be motivated by himself only. As he got the less marks in the first mid examinations, so that he got motivated to score more and more marks in the second mid examination because of his self motivation only. So this is called as the self induction. So for example, if one student is getting over marks and second student got jealous, so that the second student also started to work more hardly so that he can get over marks. That is, now in this case, the jealous student is got motivated by the first student. This is called a mutual induction. Mutual induction. Is it clear? Did you understand now? What is self-induction and mutual induction? Did you understand these two concepts?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it is clear, I hope. So these concepts are playing a very important role in the secondary onwards. Now we will take a small derivation of self-inductance of a coil here. Self-inductance of a coil. This derivation already came in our first year, first semester of the subject electromagnetic field. Electromagnetic field, you got this derivation also, but in this subject also it is again repeated. So that I am going to taking a magnetic coil with number of turns is n. So that here n is equal to number of turns of coil, number of turns of coil. number of turns of the coil here. So that the flux, we got the basic idea that E is equal minus N into d phi by dt from Faraday's laws. Now, the flux phi is equal B into A, where B is the flux density and A is cross-sectional area of conductor. The cross-sectional area of conductor is A. After A. B is equal phi by A. So that phi is equal B into A, and relation between H, magnetic field intensity, and B is that B is equal to mu H. Mu into H is equal to B. Magnetic flux density is equal permeability mu times the magnetic of field intensity H, and H is again proportional to MMF. Definition of H is equal to magnetic field intensity H is equal MMF by unit length. MMF per unit length is called a magnetic field intensity H. So that MMF is can be given as N into I, the number of turns into current passing through the coil. And simplifying this one, we can get this one. And substituting this value of phi in this equation, d phi by dt, so that are going to substituting here di by dt, so that from the inductor principle, as you know that from our first unit, whenever current is passing through an inductor, then inductance is going to be inducing an EMF, that is E is equal L into di by dt in an inductance, where L is the inductance of the coil. So comparing these two terms, we can get L is equal to mu n square A by L. That is in the physical parameters. Our value of the inductance in the physical parameters of number of turns N, area of the conductor A, and length of the conductor L. Length of the conductor L. So, length of the winding actually it is L. So, mu is the permeability. Or in other words, the same thing can be written in this manner also. L is equal in terms of reluctance. So this can be written in this manner also. Here reluctance is equal L by mu A, that is L by mu A. So that if I can take these terms of L by mu A as common, then the inductance term can become this is in the denominator term, it is mu, it is n square. N square L is equal n square by L by mu A. So that L by mu A can be replaced with reluctance term R. Simple derivation. About this derivation, for this is very important from the examination point of view. Derive the equation for the self-inductance of a coil. Based upon this equation, also required to solve some the problems also. Okay, and some problems are also appearing based on this equation. I will tell the mutual induced concept already. So these are the applications of mutual induced EMF. Mutual induction is being used in the ignition coil. It is used in the ignition coil of a motor car or car starting system. Automatic car starting system ignition is having this principle of mutual induction, and it is being used in the induction furnaces, for that induction stove. Nowadays it is called as an induction stove. And induction stove also are going to be using the principle of mutual induction. Now it is particularly useful for the case of transformers. These are the applications of mutually induced EMF. For transformer application is very important. I will deal with the transformer in our next class. So that's similar to the self-inductance of a coil also. We need to derive the mutual inductance of a coil also. We need to derive an equation for mutual inductance of a coil also. But so here I have taken the two coils with the coil 1 and coil 2. This is the coil 1 and coil 2, and these two coils are magnetically coupled. Magnetically coupled in the sense the flux passing through the first coil is able to pass through the second coil also. Similarly, the flux passing in the second coil is able to pass through the first coil also. And number of turns in the first coil is N1 and number of turns in the second coil is N2. Now, for example, first coil is applied with a current of I1, so that MMF in the first coil is N into I, N1 into I1. So by applying E is equal to N into d phi by dt for the second coil, it is N2 into d by dt of K1 phi 1, where K is the coupling coefficient. Where K is the coupling coefficient, it will come after us now. So by simplifying this one, we can get the phi value, and similarly substituting that one, we can get an equation for mutually induced EMF. We can get the mutually induced EMF, similar to the derivation of self-induced EMF only. Okay. Now, one more important topic in the concept of the mutual induction is that now a mutual induction meaning that an EMF is going to be induced in second coil because of the first coil current. So this concept is called as a mutual induction. Now the mutual inductance can be indicated with the letter M, right? A mutual induction, a mutual inductance. Mutual inductance is going to be indicated with letter L, and self inductance is going to be indicated with letter L. Self inductance is going to be indicated with letter L, and mutual inductance is going to be indicated with letter M. Now, an important thing here is that we require to use the dot convention. Whenever two coils are magnetically coupled, then we require to use of a dot convention. But observe here that mutual inductance value, M value is a positive quantity. M value is a positive quantity. But while writing the KVL equations and while writing the induced EMF equation, we need to indicate the direction of winding coils also. So this is going to be an assigning the positive sign or negative sign to the M value. Strictly speaking, the value of the mutual inductance is a positive value. But while writing the KVL and KCL equations, we need to indicate the induced. We need to indicate the induced EMF. Now, the induced EMF by the mutual induction principle, it may be positive or negative value depending upon the winding connections of the coil. So that to provide clarity, we are going to using a dot. A dot is going to be placed at any point of the coil. At any point of the coil. This is called a dot convention. A convention of an induced EMF by mutual induction. are simply saying a dot convention is a convention method of mutually induced EMF. So now in the dot convention, we are going to be placing a dot at any point of the coils. Now, if current now, so for example, if I can take this case here, current at this dot is entering this dot, so that it is given a positive sign, positive and negative, and again it is also positive and negative here. Okay, so that now here, if I can place, if the current at this dot is entering, now in this direction also the current at the start in the second coil is also entering. So if the current is entering in this dot, and in this dot on the second coil also a current is entering, so that the sign of the mutual induction is plus M. The sign of the mutual induced EMF is positive. Okay, and similarly if I can take another combinations, if I can take another combinations here, let me take this combination. Now at this dot this current is entering, and at this dot this current is leaving this dot, and it is leaving this dot here, so that at one dot mark of the coil a current is entering, and at another dot mark of another coil it is leaving, so that the sign of the mutually induced EMF is negative. And similarly in this case also, the current at this dot I1 is leaving this dot, and the current at this dot is an entering, so that in this case also at one dot the current is leaving, and at one dot the current is entering, so that the sign of the mutually induced EMF is again minus. Now, so for example, if I can take the fourth combination, now at these two dots the two currents are leaving now, so that the sign of the mutual induction is positive again. So simplifying all these four cases, we can make a general statement that, and simplifying all these four cases, we can make a general statement that if current enters or leaves the dot mark of two coils, but then the polarity of the mutually induced EMF is positive. It's clear? A thumb rule. A thumb rule for the dot convention is that if current enters or leaves a dot mark of the two coils, then the polarity of the mutually induced EMF is positive. If current enters at one dot mark and leaves at the other dot mark, then the polarity of the induced EMF is negative. Do you understand these 2 points? Point 1 and 2. Respond, please.
Yes, sir.
If you can understand these 2 points, then the dot convention topic will be finished. The key point in the dot convention is that if current is entering or leaving the dots, that is direction of current at both dot marks should be an entering or should be leaving, then it is positive. If one current enters and another current leaving, meaning that it is negative here. So based upon these two thumb rules, they can write the KVL equations for loop number 1. So for example, KVL equation for this one, an applied potential V1 of t is equal to self-inductance L1 into di1 by dt and plus or minus mutually induced EMF M into di2 by dt. Now here the sign of the mutually induced EMF is decided by the dot convention. Dot convention in this case. So that now in this case, both the currents I1 and I2 currents are entering. Both currents are entering, so that it is positive. Similarly, for the second loop also, V2 of t is equals self-inductance of the second coil and L2 into di2 by dt and plus. Why it is plus again? Because both the currents are entering at the dot marks. Both the currents are entering, so that's why it is plus M. And similarly for the case 2 also, and similarly for the case 2, if I can explain here. So that now in this case 2, if I can write the KVL equation for the first loop here, so that here applied potential V1 of t is equal L1 self-inductance of the first coil and L1 into di1 of t by dt, and mutually induced EMF in this case it is minus. Why it is minus? Because one current is entering the dot and another current is leaving the dot, so that's why it is minus. Okay, minus M into di2 by dt. And similarly for second loop also, and I2 of V2 of t is equal to self-inductance of the second coil and L2 into di2 by dt and minus M into di1 of t by. Now in this case also here, the first loop equation we can write, and again second loop equation also we can write without any problem, but keep in mind the sign of the mutually induced EMF. Now in this case also, one current is leaving the dot mark here and another current is entering the dot mark, so that it is minus here. But now in this case, both of the currents are leaving the two dots, so that it is again plus. This is a dot convention. This is also very important question from the examination point of view. On the examination question, on the examination, you can be asked or explain the dot convention method. Dot convention. What is dot convention? And explaining. You can ask the type of questions there. So next, last topic to be understood is that coefficient of coupling. So that whenever two magnetic coils are placed in close proximity, then there is a coupling mechanism is there, a magnetic coupling, and that coupling value, the coupling factor can be indicated with value of K. So that this is the formula for K. Derivation can be done afterwards. Now we need to derive this formula also. So range of K is 0 to 1. If K is equal to 0, meaning that there is no magnetic coupling between two coils. Magnetic coupling between two coils L1 and L2. If I can take two coils there, the amount of magnetic flux passing through between the coils, the amount of magnetic flux passing through the coils can be indicated with a coupling coefficient K value. So that K value should be high. So here the K value should be as high as possible to get more amount of flux to be passing. So K value is going to be ranging in the range of 0 to 1. If K is equal to 1, meaning that a perfect coupling. The perfect coupling meaning that now the entire flux from the coil 1 is going to be reaching the coil 2. Now if K value is less than 5, meaning that the type of coupling is loosely coupled, that is losses in the flux, leakage flux between the two coils is very large. That is, a small amount of flux from coil 1 is passing through the coil 2 only. A major value of the flux is gone in terms of losses. If K value is greater than 5, then the type of coupled coils can be called a tightly coupled coil. That is, a sufficient amount of magnetism is present between the two coils here, so that for the case of the mutual induction, value of coupling coefficient K value, value of coupling coefficient K value should be at least equal to greater than 0.5. Sorry, this is not 5, 0.5. This is not 5, 0.5, 0.5. Okay, so that to get the concept of the mutual inductance and mutually induced EMF, we must have the coupling coefficient value and at least 0.5 at least. Then only the concept of mutual inductance and mutually induced EMF can exist. It can exist. Okay. So these are the things I would like to share you in this class. But do you understand these things now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And everything is clear. The concept of self-induction and mutual induction. Okay. Or any doubts do you have now here? Or do you have any doubts in this class?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. We'll finish this class. Thank you very much.